Hello, welcome to this edition of Momentum. I'm Robert Green, your host. I'm happy today to be joined by Marleigh Robinson. Marleigh is a 2022 chemical engineering graduate from the Swalm School of Chemical Engineering in the Bagley College, and she is also our admissions coordinator for the College of Engineering. Marleigh, welcome. Happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Green.
So what brought you to Mississippi State to do chemical engineering?
So I went to MSU for a couple of reasons. First, as soon as I stepped on campus, it just felt like home. I can't explain that feeling, but I hear it all the time from these prospective students. They say it just feels like home when I get here, and that was really true to me as well. I chose our engineering school because of the opportunities with the co-op program. There was such a strong relationship between companies, and I really wanted that opportunity. And then also there was a lot of scholarships as well that I was very interested in.
Good. Any particular reason you chose chemical engineering over some other?
Well, as many would probably say, they love chemistry and math in high school.
Yeah.
I did. I still do enjoy them both. I don't practice them very often anymore, but I've always been interested in how things work and what they're made of.
Okay. So what brought you from the field of engineering to admissions counselor?
So to be honest, I didn't know this was a career path that I could have. I didn't know there was a such thing as an admissions coordinator for the College of Engineering, but once I realized that, I thought it would be a perfect fit for me because I've always loved talking to people and getting to know them and helping them out in a situation they might not be sure what to do in. And I feel like I can use my engineering background to relate to those students. I have the experience of going through our chemical engineering program, so I can relate to some of the things they'll be going through.
Well, speaking of going through the chemical engineering program, were there any particular challenges you faced while you were there? And if so, how did you go about overcoming those?
Yeah, so one of the first challenges I faced was I was pretty overwhelmed. I came from a high school with a graduating class of 65, and that was a lot different once I got here. I think my intro to chemistry class was like 150 people. So that was really overwhelming to me. I didn't know anyone in my classes. I didn't have friends yet. But to overcome that, I really started hanging out in the Swalm lounge, which is where all of the other chemical engineers would hang out. I started talking to my classmates, and that really helped form those relationships. We were able to bond over the projects we were working on, the homework. If I didn't know it, I could ask my partner, and if they didn't know it, they could ask me. And so that's really what got me out of that.
So what is maybe something you wish someone had told you when you were still in high school that would have helped you come to Mississippi State and do engineering and maybe not have had some challenges along the way?
I wish someone would have told me to learn how to study in high school because high school was a breeze, to be honest. I didn't have to study much, so I didn't really learn how I learned, to be honest. And so I think that would have helped me a lot if I would have practiced my studying beforehand.
So how do you go about studying, or how did you go about studying once you got here?
So I really had to do trial and error. I had to work on what worked for me. For me personally, I'm very visual, hands-on doing it. I have to practice something to really comprehend it. Some people can hear it and they just grasp it. Some can read it. For me, I'm a hands-on learner. So once I learned that, it was a lot easier.
Okay. So I know we do a great job here at Mississippi State of having events on campus and off campus to recruit students and tell them about all the programs we have here. One of the questions I often get is, you guys have a lot of programs. Do I need to come to all of them? Tell our audience about that. How many of these programs should they all come to? Are there particular ones they should focus on, or others?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of programs to offer. We're always happy to host prospective students whenever they want to come visit us. We'll be happy to have them here. The main programs we have in the fall, we've got a preview day. We have several of those. There's 3 this fall. This day is going to be an open house style event, so it's going to put MSU on display. They'll get to hear from all the different academic colleges if they want to. They'll be able to hear from Greek life, student affairs. They can learn about housing and dining, residence halls, all of that, all in one day. So it's a pretty jam-packed day. There's a lot to learn that day. They usually get ice cream, a little social event. We also offer scholars recognition days. These are for our higher achieving ACT students. It's invite only. They'll need to have a 30 or higher on that ACT to be invited. And it's going to be similar to a preview day, but it's just going to be catered more towards academics in that preview day. So they'll still get to hear from residence life, some current students, but they'll also get more in-depth talk at their academic colleges.
Okay.
We also have Engineering Discovery Day. That's going to be in November, specifically November 12th this year. This is a day for students in 9th or 12th grade who know they want to do engineering, but they may not know exactly what engineering they want to do. So If they come to Engineering Discovery Day, they'll get to hear from all 8 departments, and they'll kind of get to see what life could be like in that engineering field. So that's it's a list. So you can't come.
Can come to any of them, but
you can come to any of them, but for Engineering Discovery Day, you have to sign up. It's not just open for everybody.
Yeah.
We have a cap on how many can attend.
Yeah, and obviously one preview day is just like all the others, so no sense coming to just.
You don't have to come back.
Yeah, well, tell us about Academic Insight. I know we'll do that typically sometime in February. I don't think we've set the dates this year yet.
Yes, that'll come later. So Academic Insight is for admitted students only. This is where a student can come and they will visit their department of choice. They will hear from one of our alumni speakers, someone who has graduated from us a couple of years ago. They'll tell us a little bit about what they're doing, how they got to where they are, and they'll just talk a little bit about the college. And then when they go to their departments, they'll get to break out. They'll get to hear from current students. They might interact with some of our ambassadors. And then they'll have a chance to go to an organization fair and see what kind of clubs we have on campus, what they can get involved in. And there'll also be an option for them to talk to housing and dining, residence life, and all that. So it's similar to a preview day, but it's a half-day event, and it's only for admitted students.
Okay. Hey, you also mentioned campus tours. I know we do a lot of those. Tell us what happens on a campus tour.
Yeah, so a campus tour, you can expect to come and meet with me or one of our ambassadors. We try to pair students with the current student in a similar major that they're interested in, and so they'll get to come in, they'll have a little spiel about what we've got at the college to offer, and then we like to send them on a tour of their department where they can see some of the classrooms they will be in, they can see some of our labs, and they'll just really talk about their student experience. And it's a good way for prospective students to kind of get to interact with the current college student and see what their life can look like as well.
Is it okay if I just drop in and say, hey, here I am, I want a campus tour? How does that work?
We do ask for at least a 2 weeks notice to schedule these because sometimes people want to meet with an advisor or something like that, and it takes time to schedule all these tours. It takes time to make sure we can pair you with the right person for your tour. So we want to make sure the students can have the best experience possible. So if we can have that 2 weeks notice, that's how you can get the best out of your visit.
Okay. And I know a lot of our students, many of them are still looking at multiple universities and doing various campus tours and all. What advice would you have to that student? What sort of things should they be looking for as they visit different universities to help them make a decision of which one they want to go to?
So I think it's important for them to know what they're looking for in a university, specifically size, and then the opportunities while they're a student. If they want to be involved in research, they need to make sure that that university can provide that experience for them. If they want to do a co-op, it's easier if a university has co-op relationships to go ahead and get a co-op. They just really need to know what they're looking for.
Okay. So by the time this airs, our application will be open for the next academic year, and students some of them will probably already have completed their application or at least started on it by the time they watch this. But for the others, tell us a little bit about the application process to Mississippi State.
So the application process is actually pretty simple. You really only need to know who you are, where you're from, just a little bit of personal information about yourself and what you're interested in studying. And that's really all it takes to apply. There is a $40 application fee for that, but I would recommend students to go ahead, if they're even interested in MSU, I would say go ahead and fill out the application. And I say that because housing priority is based off when someone applies to the university.
So how important, speaking of that, how important is it that I'm right there, ready to hit the button the minute the application opens? Or is it okay to wait a couple of days or a week?
Honestly, I would just go ahead and apply as soon as you can. You will still have a good spot if you wait a couple of days or a week or two, but I would just get it in as early as possible. If you're already interested, you might as well just go ahead and apply.
Okay. So if I'm getting ready to do that, what sort of information should I have ready before I sit down at the computer ready to put in the application?
So you just need your name, your address, your social security number, and then you need to know your high school, and that's really it. Just have your major of interest and you can go ahead and apply. Have $40 ready, a way to pay that.
Okay, and then I assume I can come back at a later date and fill things in?
So there's no supplemental documents right when you apply. Those documents, we do need transcripts. For incoming freshmen, that's a 9th through 11th grade transcript, and for transfer students, it's their most recent college transcript. You'll need to go ahead and submit this before we can actually process your application.
Okay, and what about scholarships? How do I go about applying for those?
Scholarship application will not open until October, so as soon as October rolls around, if you're ready, you can go ahead and apply for scholarships. You want to make sure you do that before December 1st. We have a hard deadline up December 1st for getting your priority date in.
And what all would I need to have ready for a scholarship application?
So there's going to be a bunch of questions you need to fill out. There's going to be an essay portion to fill out. Your interests, you can go ahead and fill those out. It's just general information about you if you're doing the general scholarship. We do have a special engineering scholarship application for our students who have a 30 or higher on the ACT. And it's just a couple more interest questions, and then they might have a smaller essay portion to fill out as well.
Okay. So after I submit my application, either the admissions application or scholarship, how long does it normally take for me to have a decision?
So after you submit your application and you've submitted those transcripts that we need from you, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks in our peak application season.
Okay, and what about scholarships?
Scholarships, so you will not know about scholarships until after that December deadline. So those will go out in the springtime. It'll definitely be before you're actually here as a student, but you won't know that until in the spring.
Okay, good information to have. How do I know what I want to major in? This fall we'll have 15 majors in the College of Engineering. What if I don't know which one I want to major in? How do I decide that? Or what can I do until I do decide?
So you can come visit us for a preview day. You can come for a campus visit. If you are able to come for Engineering Discovery Day and go through all the departments, if you know you want to do engineering, I would suggest doing that. And really, just find out what you're interested in, what piques your interest, what excites you. If you don't pick the right choice at first, that's okay. You can still change your mind down the road. You won't be locked into whatever major you choose at first.
Okay, so changing majors is not as hard as some people like to make it seem?
It's not. We want you to be happy in what you're doing. We don't want you to be miserable and not enjoying what you've got a degree in. We want you to be able to have a happy time with it. So we'll be happy to help you change that major.
Are there special requirements for me to get into the College of Engineering, or do I just need to be accepted to Mississippi State?
So while we don't have a supplemental application for College of Engineering, we do have certain requirements. So we require a 23 or higher on the ACT, and since we are a test optional institution, if you haven't taken the ACT or the SAT, we will accept a 3.5 or higher core GPA. Now, if you don't meet those two requirements and you have a 20 to a 22 on the ACT, you can have a 3.0 or higher core GPA. And then if you've got a 19 or lower on that ACT, you'll need that 3.5 core GPA. And then if you don't meet those requirements, but you really want to be an engineer, we can go ahead and accept you as pre-engineering, where you'll take a class with some of your other fellow people who want to be engineers but aren't quite ready. We'll try to get you on track, take the classes you need to catch up, and then once you've done well in those classes, you can become fully enrolled in our college.
Okay. Well, Marleigh, that's a lot of information, and I appreciate you joining us today. I think we certainly need to have some students come visit and talk to us and learn some more about the Bagley College of Engineering and Mississippi State. I want to thank you all for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you again here on Momentum.